And now it's finally time. We did it, guys. We are 8.5 hours into this stream. 8.5 hour balance patch review stream. And we have finally arrived at the last one. And I think it is a short one, relatively speaking. I think this is going to be an easy one. It is Warrior at long last. Oh, man. Oh. Here we go. I'm ready. Warrior. Warrior's rifle has been somewhat lackluster in its gameplay feel, so we're updating it to create some rotations by giving its 2 to 4 skills ammunition. Oh, roleplay, guns, right? Shorter cooldowns between uses and slightly lower cooldowns to recover shots. Plus, successfully using rifle butt will allow the rapid recovery of the ammunition for the like a reload, dude. That is great flavor. Warrior Hammer has a pretty good gameplay cadence, so we're pushing a bit further on what it does well, hurting crowd-controlled enemies. Its iconic second skill, Fierce Blow, now does significantly greater damage to disabled foes. Well, ArenaNet, I didn't know you were that kind of company. That's half the PvP scene right there. And Backbreaker will automatically recharge Fierce Blow for immediate use when you successfully knock down an enemy. Oh, yeah, okay. That kind of interaction is quite fun, actually. That's quite interesting right there. So, let's get into this. Aimed shot. Actually, let me relog my warrior so we can get these abilities in view, in full view, my friends. Right, there we go. There's rifle. So, let's go over these abilities. So, aimed shot. Has 2 ammunition, a 3-second recharge between uses, and recovers ammunition every 10 seconds. So it has an 8-second cooldown right now. But that's going up to 10. But you can double use it. That's a pretty fair trade-off, in my opinion. And that's 10 vulnerability. They've left the 10 vuln and the cripple in the mix there as well. That is worth noting, guys. That is worth fucking noting. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's, you know, it's time to watch out for that sort of thing, I think. Yeah, with the trait, it will be even less, right? With the rifle trait. Where is Crackshot? Where did it go? Went to Discipline. Yeah, it's Discipline, isn't it? Yeah. It says 20% recharge reduction, so it will be, what? It'll be 8 seconds. Right now, it's 6.5 seconds, but it'll be 8 seconds if you take Crackshot, with this as well. Oh, and the recharge rate? Oh, I guess it will also be reduced there as well, yeah, by 20%. So, yeah, it will be, what, 3 down to, like, 2.4 or something like that, yeah. So, Volley. The skill now has 2... Whoa. Volley has 2 ammunition, a 5-second recharge between each use, and recovers ammunition every 12 seconds. So, it's at 10 seconds right now, so again, they're increasing it a little bit, but you can use it twice. That is quite spicy, especially seeing as this pierces. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like this, I mean, you can keep up the pressure there on Volley. There you go. Brutal shot. This has got ammunition as well. An 8-second recharge between uses and recovers ammunition every 20 seconds. So they've increased. Yeah, because this is such quite a loaded ability. It has vulnerability. It removes immobilize from you. It immobilizes the target, and it's an evade as well. You evade backwards. You roll backwards. This is a very, very powerful ability, so they've been a little bit more aggressive here. They're giving it a 20-second recharge and an 8-second cooldown between it, so you can't just chain immode people. I don't know. This sounds pretty interesting. Like, I'm not sure if Warrior Rifle is going to end up being a thing. I mean, I kind of hope that it doesn't, because... like, the whole, like, sniper meme is a little bit, And Killshot it is easy to play around Killshot, which is something, right? So if it was going to end up being a base warrior, for example, it probably wouldn't be too bad, right? Like, base sniper warrior or something like that. It's got a long wind-up, so maybe that would be okay. But stuff like Gunflame, that can be interesting. But there you go. Rifle Butt. Increase the recharge of this skill from 15 to 20 seconds. If you strike a foe with this ability, then all the other rifle skills recover 1 ammunition. Ooh. Slow down the animation of the knockback. It's about double the animation there as well. Oh, man. So you can recharge your skills effectively immediately. You know, but you can get 8 seconds on aim shot, 10 seconds there, and 20 seconds on brutal shot immediately by landing a rifle butt. That's a fun ability to use, very much like Greatsword 5 on Ranger, right? That's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. So, what else have we got here? Fierce Blow. Increases damage dealt to disabled foes by 25% in PvE only. Backbreaker now recharges Fierce Blow if you knock down a foe or strike an enemy with a break bar. Why is it like that? Well, it's quite simple, because Fierce Blow, I'm not sure if I would say Fierce Blow is iconic to the hammer weapon. On Necro, I'd probably say Earthshaker is, or Backbreaker, I suppose, is probably the iconic weapons. Honestly, I feel like Staggering Blow might even be considered more iconic than Fierce Blow, but you know, look, ArenaNet, they know what's iconic, I guess, and Fierce Blow is that. Fierce Blow does more damage to foes that have been CC'd, right, who've been controlled, right? And yeah, so you backbreak them, and then you can immediately follow up with a Fierce Blow to do that. So the idea is that you can kind of really land up a lot of combos here. So you could like Staggering Blow someone and Fierce Blow, and you could Earthshaker, then Fierce Blow, then backbreak them, then Fierce Blow again, right? It's like this idea that you have this kind of bouncy gameplay where you try and land up massive combos and get some huge damage going off there. Yep, that sounds like an interesting gameplay loop, actually. I'm not sure if, I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly if that is going to work out. Hammer has been tried before. Maybe Hammer can work more effectively, actually, in a, because it's not really getting nerfed here, right? Like, they don't seem to be nerfing it. They'll probably nerf the damage, I guess, across the board, but there's actually some, like, lethal CC here, right? 4-second CC on Backbreaker, right? Like, that is a big deal. Right, if you can actually land this stuff, this could be very strong potentially in the new meta because of how scarce stun breaks have become. So Hammer might become very relevant as a result of that. It remains to be seen though if that's going to happen. And honestly, Hammer does some pretty decent DPS as well. Like, a lot of these abilities hit kind of hard. They will get nerfed obviously in accordance with everything else, but there you go, right? And Disrupting Stab. This skill now extends the 0.25 second days when using against foes using skills rather than stunning them. Yeah, that's honestly that's a pretty juicy nerf, actually. Extended days is 1.5 seconds in PvE and 1 second in PvP once. Remove the bonus damage. Base damage increased by 50%. 0.8 to 1.2 multiplier in PvE only. Okay, so they removed... Wow, they nerfed Dagger in PvP. That's quite spicy, actually. Spellbreaker, no, well, to be honest, I guess the damage overall is going to get nerfed anyway, so I'm surprised they did that. Like, Warrior is a good class, but it's not an essential class right now. Let's put it like that, and it doesn't always end up being played. So I'm surprised to see that, actually. And Disrupting Stab is quite a short cooldown ability that can be quite difficult to play against, right? It's a very quick little interrupt there. But, you know, it is skill-based. And making it not a stun and making it a daze instead is a really big distinction. Like, daze is not as bad as stun. Let's put it like that. Imminent Threat. Slow down the animation so the taunt occurs at 600 MS. Oh, wow. I mean, I'm glad they nerfed that. Like, that was really... Oh, those Spellbreaker meditations, man. Holy shit. They were so oppressive. Oh yeah, no. Signet of Might now gives 10 stacks of the new unblockable buff for 6 seconds. Okay, so instead of just giving you perma on... so right now, Signet of Might just gives you unblockable for 6 seconds, completely unblockable. Now you only get 10 attacks, which is honestly probably more than enough for Warrior. Like, you might use this on, say, like a Berserker or a Rifle Warrior to immediately, like, penetrate the defenses, right? You're not going to be too bothered by that. Yep. Okay. Let us continue. Let us continue onwards to the PvP changes. So... Skills. Primal Burst on Berserker. Arc Divider. Reduce power coefficient per strike from 1.05 to 0.7. Yep, that's just in line, 33%. Rupturing Smash. Power coefficient from 1.5 to 1.4. I'm surprised they're letting it get away with that, actually, because that attack, I believe, actually it immobilizes, doesn't it? Rupturing Smash there. It's such an immobilize. I'm surprised they're letting it even get away with that much DPS. That's still quite a decent... coefficient there, not bad. Gunflame, ooh, yeah, they're giving it a big one there. I think that's about 30, I want to say about 33% once again, so yep, they're holding to that 33% there, reducing damage. I think Gunflame could honestly maybe even do it a bit more. Like, this ability is so anti-fun, but I think a lot of the nerfs will come through in the lack of might and the general lack of stats in PvP, so that will address that, I think. Decapitate, reduce the power coefficient from 2.5 to 1.6, reduce might stacks from 5 to 1. I mean, just remove the might, dude. I think removing the might is actually a little bit harsh. They should maybe make it so that I don't know, like that does seem a little bit mean. I'm not sure if it deserves that, because it's if it hits, gain might and recharge the skill. Oh, I guess it doesn't need the might because it recharges and goes round again. I feel like maybe it could give like 3 might or something like that, like 1 might. 1 might. And Skull Grinder. Reduce the bleeding from 4 to 3. Reduce the cripple from 8 to 5. I think Skull Grinder is an ability that could maybe look a bit of a rework. Doesn't look like Comedy Berserker is really going to be a thing in PvP, so we are safe. But it's one of those abilities that has so much tacked onto it, right? Check this shit out, guys. Look at fucking this stupid ability. Oh, hang on, where is it? Skull Grinder. Blind, Bleed, Confusion, Cripple, and Daze in one ability on a 4-second cooldown. Now, Berserker isn't very good, so it's not too bad, but yeah, like that is really Aid's ability, and one ability probably shouldn't apply that much, so this ability could probably still use a redesign, to be honest, but it's not really an issue because it doesn't really see play, but it could be, who knows, maybe Condi Berserker is going to make an epic comeback after this, but honestly, with the way Berserker is right now, probably not. With the changes to making Berserker a lot squishier, a lot more vulnerable, probably not that likely, I don't think. But then again, maybe. I can kind of see it, right? Like, if you get hit by this, right, and you can't sunbreak of it, and they headbutt you and stuff like that, then yeah, Condi Berserker could potentially even be useful. Like, these abilities will do a hell of a lot of damage, right? But I think Berserker isn't what it was for that sort of thing, so I do think we are gladly safe. Full counter. This is actually a buff. They reduced the damage, but honestly, it kind of did piddly damage anyway. And the daze going up to 2 seconds. That's a long-ass daze on a short cooldown now as well. That's a short cooldown daze, and it's very easy to proc it as well in PvP, so you can get some serious AoE stuff there. Great for cleaving as well, because, people might be cleaving. You can put up full counter and daze whoever's cleaving your corpse or trying to finish your, trying to res or trying to go for the kill, something like that. That's actually quite a powerful thing. And once again, they're kind of just directing it. Full counter is a CC. It is not a... Yeah, it's a CC. It's not a damaging move, right? So that's what the direction they're going in. So, weapons on Greatsword. Greatsword. Auto attack chain. Damage is down, and the vulnerability is down there as well. And yeah, it's a pretty significant damage. It is 33%, as you can see, across the board. Seems good, just standard. Same with 100 Blades. Whirlwind attack, halving it. Yep, this deserves it. This ability does way too much damage while evading on a very, very short cooldown. This is an incredibly powerful ability. Having its power coefficient halved, it definitely deserves it. Rush. Power coefficient down to 1.7 to 1.32. Yep, that's fair enough. 33% once again. Arcing Slice, not reduced overly that much because... this is something that you'll only really see. This is kind of a pretty fair ability, right? Like, you have to line it up, you've got to land it, you've got to go for an execute there as well. And on Spellbreaker, it's not too bad because you only get level 1, right? You're only going to get a level 1 burst on Spellbreaker. And on Base Warrior could maybe get some value out of that because, they haven't nerfed it that much relative to other abilities. But then again, you'd have to play Base Warrior to do that. And I think Base Warrior does actually see some experimentation already, but I don't think it's quite Spellbreaker. Although Spellbreaker may not actually be strictly necessary after this patch because, you might not need that additional defensive meme. But... I think having Spellbreaker like Mage Bane Tether is very, very, very important, right? Like, it's a huge, huge ability. Stacking Might, kind of refueling your Might Makes Right meme as well, which, well, that is getting nerfed a little bit, but yeah, there you go. I don't know. It's Arcing Slice, I think, a little nerf is good, but, I mean, it can do a lot of damage, though, especially if you're all juiced up on Might. And that can happen very easily with stuff like For Great Justice on base Shout Warrior. You can juice up and go crazy, so Arcing Slice could be still kind of pretty scary, I think. You're definitely going to want to dodge that. That is for sure. But it is a pretty fair ability. Quite difficult to land, right? It's quite a short, small radius and a decent wind up to it. Okay, Hammer. Auto attack chain nerfed by 33%. Perfectly standard there as well. Whoa! Fierce Blow. Halved. Oh, less than half of the base power coefficient. That is brutal. They really want you to only use it on CC'd foes, right, uncontrolled foes, because they didn't reduce that much. They reduced that from 2.16 to 1.8, which is about 20%, I think, 25%. The weakness duration is on 2 seconds now as well. But the cooldown is 4 seconds. Okay, that is a fast cooldown. And, again, yeah, you're going to spam CC with your hammer. They won't be able to Sunbreak it because all Sunbreaks got nerfed, and that's when you whack them with the Fierce Blow and deal massive damage. Fair enough. So, yeah. and they have nerfed the damage on basically everything else. Hammer Shock is down 33%, which is just normal. That's the standard, 30%. And Staggering Blow, Backbreaker, and Earthshaker all do no damage now. Like, man, like this approach, ooh, I feel like some of this is a little bit unjustified, man. Like, you're hitting people with a massive fucking hammer and hitting them for 30 damage. Oh, man, that is harsh. But, you know, we are living in a world where you can't really break out of CCs, right? And not as much anyway. And lining up Fierce Blow is going to be very, very satisfying and very, very juicy. So I think we've got to go with it. I think this could definitely be considered a little bit harsh, though, especially seeing as Hammer is a bit of an underperforming weapon right now on Warrior. So maybe some of these abilities could have some of their damage, right? And not just none of it, and not have it just completely deleted. But yeah, we'll see. Longbow! Dual Shot. Reduce the power coefficient per hit from 0.44 to 0.293. Yep, that's just standard. It's a Condi weapon anyway, really, so it's not really the end of the world. Well, it's a bit of a hybrid weapon with Arcing Arrow, but even that's getting nerfed as well. Fan of Fire, power coefficient down a little bit as well. Yep, it's Condi. It doesn't really matter. And Arcing Arrow. Reduce the power coefficient from 2.0 to 1.5. That's basically in line with everything else. There you go. Yeah, Earthshaker, yeah, Earthshaker does deserve a little bit of damage, you know, it does deserve a little bit of damage because it's a burst, right, you know, a bit of a burst, but, well, not so bursty anymore, that's for sure. Rifle, so Fierce Shot, down 33%, that's just the auto attack. Aim Shot, oh, wow, they actually have reduced this fairly significant, actually. So, Aim Shot is going to be more like a setup skill now. So the damage is down by almost 50%, actually about 33%. But the Vuln is now 12 stacks for 6 seconds. That's a lot of Vuln, guys, for like a one-tap ability. And then you hit them with the Volley, the big fucking Volley. And, well, yeah, Volley is now 0.75 to 0.5. So that is a 33% reduction. That's just normal, though. That's effectively not a nerf because that's just the standard 33% across the entire board. Brutal Shot is a reduced power coefficient down to 0.4 from 1.0. Yep, well, that is, yeah, that's too accepted. I think this ability doesn't need to do much damage because it's got an emote, it's got an evade, it removes a emote there as well. It does a lot, right? So it's okay to remove it. It moves you back a little bit too. And it also gives Vuln. Dude, fucking 12, dude, if you use Aim Shot and Brutal Shot, that's, dude, Aim Shot, dude, you Brutal Shot them to emote them. You Aim Shot them. And then you Volley them. That's big. That's fucking big, boys. Gets 24 Vuln. You've got for great... Ajax is going to be happy, dude. Ajax is going to be happy about this indeed. I mean, Rifle Butt now doesn't do any power, but it also gives you some more ammo for your other skills. Very nice roleplay there. You get a reload on that. Is this stuff good enough to make Rifle Warrior good? I'm not sure, to be honest. I feel like Rifle Warrior, just as an archetype, just does struggle a little bit. It's a bit of a cheese build, you know? It's a bit of a... Aha! You didn't dodge my one move, so you lose. But if you dodge it, you win. It's very binary, right? It's very hit and miss, I think, just by the design. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, being hit and miss. But I think that will limit its success in competitive play. Killshot gets the standard nerf there as well, by about 33%. I feel that's a little bit... Is that a little bit more than 33%, actually? No, it's probably just about that. Yeah, it's a teeny tiny little bit more than 33% nerf. So they want to keep down that, like, full one-shot, right? Like, the full one-shot isn't going to happen. But that's good. Like, you don't really want abilities that, like, flat one-shot with, like, 20k damage, right? Like, it's funny for, like, the Twitch clips, okay? For Ajax, but, yeah, less so now. I've got to say, though, like, the new rifle toolkit is quite powerful. Like, you can, you can rifle butt and then just, like, go round again on all of your abilities. That is quite strong, to be fair, actually, being able to do that. Like, the rifle has hope, but I am quite skeptical. Let me put it like that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Okay, so Axe, Chop, Double Chop, and Triple Chop are all down by about 33%. Yeah, about 33% across the board. Yep, so that's just standard nerfs, nothing to see there. Cyclone Axe, reduce the power coefficient from 0.88 to 0.66, reduce the fury duration from 2 to 1, adjusted the vulnerability per hit from 3 stacks for 8 seconds to 1 stack for 6 seconds. Wow, that is quite a nerf on Axe, actually. That's quite surprising to me. I think they are worried about... when Throw Axe goes up to 15. I think that's a... yeah, I think Throw Axe is pretty justified. This is a really weird ability. It will randomly just destroy you. Throw Axe is... it does so much damage, actually, if they're below 25%. It's 100% extra damage. So that's very, very powerful ability. You can do like 4 or 5k damage actually with fucking Throw Axe, man. It's spicy as hell. So yeah, you got to watch out for that. And yeah, extra cooldown. Just make it a bit less spammy overall. I think is fine. Cyclone Axe. This kind of goes for the boon thing, right? If you get boons, you got to use them immediately, right? You got to Cyclone Axe, then eviscerate someone, or Cyclone Axe and throw an axe at them. That's what they want it to be like. Use this, go, 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 go. You know what I mean? So I think that's how it's been. It is a very short cooldown anyway, so I think that's okay. The vulnerability reduction, considering how free vulnerability is on a lot of other classes, I think removing the vulnerability is maybe a little bit harsh actually on Cyclone Axe. Especially with the cooldown increase up to 8 seconds as well. But yeah, I mean, this is just something that is going across the board there. So yeah, it's good. You still have Throw Axe damage. You still have a strong auto attack, and you have Eviscerate, right, which can land and can do pretty big damage. But dude, you lose your might on Eviscerate. Oh man, that is a big feels bad, man, dude. A big feels bad, man. Reduce power coefficient from 3 to 2, which is just normal. But they also reduced the might stacks from 5 to 1. Oh my god. Dude, I wonder why they removed the might. I feel like Eviscerate, particularly on base warrior, I don't think that's really unfair to give you 5 might from using that ability. And only if it hits, by the way. It actually has to hit. I believe, anyway. So you can't miss. And it's only 5 might for not the longest duration in the world either. I mean, it's... yeah, I don't know. It's only 6 seconds, right? So, yeah, that's a little harsh. Core Warrior can still generate a lot of might. This is true. Core Warrior can generate a lot of might. You can take For Great Justice, right? You can go... you can stack a lot of might there. It's 12 might. Honestly, abilities like this are actually quite strong. I like... this is like... you could argue that for something like For Great Justice is kind of overtuned, right? Like with the Core Warrior build. I can definitely see the Core Warrior build being quite strong, actually, now. I can see this being quite strong. Because of... it already did see a little bit of play. Some players would play Base Warrior. Whether for preference or because they think it was better. And now that Spellbreaker is getting some nerfs, like the Disrupting Stab nerf, and I think Mage Bane's getting nerfed as well. Might Makes Right is being nerfed there as well. It's potentially you may end up wanting to take the Shout trait for additional sustain and for Great Justice there as well. But honestly, all this stuff might be getting nerfed as well. So it's a little bit too early to say. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue onwards here to Sword Main Hand. Sever Artery, Gash, and Hamstring. Damage is down, 33%, standard. Savage Leap is getting a lot of damage reduction there as well, actually. They're basically halving it. A little bit, yeah, a bit over half of the damage there. Why? Because it is a really strong mobility skill on a short cooldown. Therefore, that is fair. Good stuff there. Final Thrust. Reduce the base power coefficient from 1.5 to 1.0 and reduce the bonus power coefficient from 3.0 to 2.0. Increase the cooldown from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. I think it would be kind of okay to actually keep this relatively high. Final Thrust, actually, as like, because it's actually very hard to land, I think. It has a very long windup and a weird hitbox meme, or however it interacts. So I think maybe you could give it a little bit more of the execute damage. Maybe give it to like 2.25 or maybe even 2.5 or something like that. Because especially seeing as Sword doesn't have the highest weapon strength in the universe as well. But yeah, definitely making it so you have to, if you want to use Sword, you have to actually land its condition, right? And that is pretty good, if you ask me. Okay, Mace. Auto attack chain. What, guys? Do I even need to say it? 33% nerf. Standard. Counterblow. Reduce the power coefficient from 2.0 to 1.0. Adjust the vulnerability from 10 stacks to 8 seconds for 15 stacks. 15 stacks, boys? For 6 seconds? Wow, and that's one hell of a setup ability right there, dude. Oh my god. That is a big setup there. The damage is significantly reduced, though, actually. halving the power coefficient, but the vulnerability is going to make it really, really good. And yeah, they've taken a lot of damage away from Mace there as well, right? Because you don't have counterblow and Skullcrack, because it's one of the strongest CCs in the game. It doesn't do any damage anymore. So Mace, I feel like, is a bit of a weird weapon right now. Like, what are you going to do with this, right? Like, what are you going to do with your vulnerability on your main hand Mace? You're going to hit people with it, then do you have, like, an axe in your offhand and then start spinning on them or something like that? Like, do you get them with a skull... You get them with a counterblow, then you skull crack them, then you use axe 4, and then axe 5 or something like that? I mean, like, what's the game plan here with Mace? I'm not really sure. I don't know. It's skull... Dude, then you swap to your hammer and then whack them with Fierce Blow and wombo combo them. Whoa! Insane. I mean, look, that would be one hell of a CC bot warrior. And yeah, I think that everything is really up in the air. It's so difficult to predict any of this stuff because of how many changes, like how absurdly complicated everything is right now. It's almost possible. Yeah, exactly, CMC. Cross-weapon combos. Pog, yeah. Oh my. Yeah. That's good. And of course, you'll have discipline, so you can go back and forth very, very easily. But if you do that, then you I guess it could be like, dude, you could be like Mace, Shield, Hammer, CC God Warrior. Whoa, that would be so disgusting how much control you would have. I mean, I don't know. Possibly. I'm not really much of a warrior player, so it's difficult for me to predict this stuff. And there are so many variables. Almost everything is going to get experimented with after this patch, guys. I think almost everything will be tried at least once, so it's very difficult to actually make the call. So there you go. Interesting stuff happening for Mace there, but 15 Vuln. That is very spicy indeed. But it does lose a lot of damage. Like Skullcrack was a hard-hitting ability, right? Like with the CC, but now it's only a CC. And the same has happened to Hammer as well, so you're really going to have to land those fierce blows if you want to get work done. Okay. Axe offhand, dual strike. Reduce the power coefficient a little bit. Not much. Less than normal, actually. That's worth noting. So it's not getting... Axe offhand isn't getting nerfed hard, probably because it doesn't really see play much at all. And the quickness is down from 1.5 to 0.5. Whoa. And more cooldown. Dude, I take it back. That is a big bop, actually. What the fuck? 3 seconds of quickness down to 1? Wow. Poor Axe offhand. What did it ever do to you? Whirling Axe. Reduce power coefficient per strike from 0.5592 to 0.373. Increase the cooldown from 15 seconds to 18 seconds. So this one actually does get nerfed kind of hard as well. By about 33% there as well. But Axe offhand, I mean, is Axe offhand going to see play? I don't know, dude. Like, it's kind of one of those abilities that is not... it's not great, is it? Like, Axe, yeah, no. Mace offhand, crushing blow. Increase the cooldown from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. Yep, okay, there you go. That's fine. Just some standard cooldown increases there. That's fine. And tremor. This is actually one of the real sleeper. This is one of like the sleeper memes. It's kind of an interesting ability. It has a really long range knockdown. It's like a ranged 3-second knockdown on 6 targets. Dude, that's so weird here. I have no idea why it's 6 targets. It just is. It's 2 times 3, I guess. But yeah, now it doesn't do any damage, but still, a 3-second range knockdown is actually kind of spicy, right? Dude, Mace, Hammer, Master. Okay? That, ooh. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one, boys. But yeah, there you go. Shield Bash loses its damage there as well. Ah, man. This actually really hurts Warrior. I feel like Warrior is getting hurt quite a lot because a lot of Warrior's skills are CC and damage. If you think about Spellbreaker, right, a lot of its attacks that really fuck you over deal huge damage and CC. So Warrior is getting slapped here. Like, you may end up with base Warrior kind of coming into its own here a little bit because of that. Power coefficient from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Wait. That's the cooldown, yeah. Power coefficient from 0.8 to 0.01. And the cooldown is down to 20. So, dude, that tremor, especially with the mace trait, dude, you're going to get that mace trait and you're going to be going crazy. You're going to be smashing on fools, dude, if you have the mace trait. Where is it? It's, here it is. It's in defense, yeah. Sundering Mace. Wow. Days knockdowns applied by maces last even longer. Think of the CC, guys. A 3.6 second knockdown. on Tremor on a 16-second cooldown. That is insane. That is disgusting. Wow. That is juicy right there. Very, very spicy indeed. And then shield stance as well. Increased power coefficient from 25 to 30 seconds. Interesting. So that's a 25 modifier on power, on blocking. Quite strong there, actually. Quite powerful indeed. It's going to one-shot everyone with power coefficients like that. But yeah, cooldown going up, less block up time in general. You know what? Whirlwind on GS, on Greatsword, didn't actually get a cooldown increase. I'm kind of surprised to see that, but it did get a lot of damage reduced, so I think it's okay. That sounds good to me. But yeah, just in general, reducing block up time and evasion is always a good thing. Warrior will probably still end up being relatively okay, though, actually. It didn't actually get its evasion nerfed too hard. However, we haven't talked about healing Signet, so yeah, let's wait for that. Charge. PvP will now use the World vs. World version of the skill, 10% damage bonus. Okay, and Call of Valor, reduce the number of conditions cleansed from 3 to 2. Fine. This was quite powerful, actually. It was like a 5-target triple cleanse and even 10-target if traded as well. So quite powerful in World versus World, actually. But honestly, not really below the power level needed. Like, this almost seems like a bit of a pre-nerf to a lot of stuff, because condition application is still very, very high. Boon application is kind of reduced a little bit, and certainly in duration, and so is condition duration, especially with like the lack of expertise in PvP. But condition cleanse and a lot of this, a lot of application is still about that. There's a lot of condition cleanse still about this in a lot of classes, and a lot of application from classes too. So that's still going there as well, right? But yeah, let us continue with Dagger main hand. Again, 33% reduction, roughly, across the board. Makes sense. Disrupting stab, massively reducing the damage on the power coefficient. I believe... Wait, does it? Did they keep the damage modifier, or did they remove the damage modifier? I think they removed it, didn't they? Yeah, it doesn't do bonus damage. I actually kind of don't like that from a design perspective. I kind of like that if you actually interrupt someone and you succeeded, you got rewarded for that by dealing more damage. But I guess they're going in the other direction where it's purity, it's an interrupt, it's a daze, so it shouldn't do damage. I guess that makes sense. Now it doesn't do damage. Oh, wow. Breaching Strike loses a lot of damage there as well. 1.2 to 0.7, which is, you know, I think once again about 0.33. But you do get an additional boon. 3 boons removed. That is quite significant, actually. On your Berserker, because you can use that quite often. If you've got your dagger, you can use dagger. Let me see if I can. Have I got a dagger around here somewhere? There we go. If you've got your dagger, you can actually use that quite frequently and remove a hell of a lot of boons, actually, with Breaching Strike. So, yeah, you're going to have some serious boon pressure on Spellbreaker now as well. But you do suffer the consequences and have some significant damage reduction there as well. So these damage modifiers for Warrior don't look good. However, Warrior is able to get away with it. So yeah, that's more like 4. What is that? It's more like a... is that exactly 66% damage reduction to 0.792? No, it's actually more like 0.4 damage reduction, I think, roughly. Yeah, a little bit more than that, yeah. So Breach actually gets hit quite hard and gets pushed more in that boon pressure area. Instead of just being a more damaging skill. That's why, you know, it got that buff, so it had to lose a little bit more additional damage there as well. I think Spellbreaker is going to be quite might reliant on this after this, by the looks of this, actually, at least on Dagger. Anyway, they might be trying to separate it out, right? You rip boons when you're on your Dagger shield, and then you hit them with the Greatsword to kill them, right? So if you want to be aggressive, you've got to be on your Greatsword to really effectively deal damage there. And I think that's good. We just kind of saw that with Rev. They really reduced the offensive capabilities of Staff. And it was like, oh yeah, and with the Devastation trait as well, like the Devastation trait where you have to have 2 weapons to get both the damage modifiers, and you only get 1 modifier while you've got Staff. Yeah, you can see what they're trying to do there, right? Okay, Dagger Offhand. Wastrel's Ruin. Reduced power coefficient from 1.5 to 1.0. Increased the cooldown from 12 to 15. Yep, cooldowns are going up, particularly on some offhand stuff, I think, except Tremor, apparently. And Bladestorm is also suffering a similar fate of having its damage reduced there as well. Dagger Offhand hasn't really ever seen a crazy amount of play, to be honest. It's more that you don't really ever want to give up Greatsword or Shield, right, on these Warrior builds, right? Like, Greatsword and Shield are just so essential to the Warrior toolkit that any offhand that isn't Shield or Greatsword, which is a 2-hand, doesn't ever tend to really fit in that. I mean, it does a lot of damage, to be fair, and, you know, it is being nerfed, but then again, so is everything. So it will continue to do a good chunk of damage, right, with Blade Storm and both of these. But, yeah, dagger offhand, it's probably not happening, boys. But now we get to, like, are you guys ready for the source? I hope you're ready for the source, guys, right? Okay, Healing Signet. Nerfed by 33% approximately to 230. That hurts, right? Ooh, ow. Now, it probably is okay because all of the damage is getting reduced as well, but that is a huge change. Warrior is all about sustain and grinding and evading and kiting and resustaining using that Signet. You will be considerably less able to do that using this trait now. However, bear in mind, you have less damage to be able to sustain there as well, right? So that is worth considering there as well. And yeah, as Finn is pointing out here, you may start to see some experimentation with mending instead. And I think, you know, moving away from the passive gameplay may end up being good there as well. So yeah, you might start to see some mending gameplay there as well, especially seeing as you can use the physical trait to reduce the cooldown even further here by using peak performance, right? Which is already a trait that sees play. So you can reduce that. The cooldown has gone up on mending to 20 seconds, but you can reduce it down to 16 using the trait, which is basically what it was already. So yeah, you can I think this mending may start to come into its own here because they aren't reducing the healing on it, right? It's already quite a strong heal, actually. I think I've got Heal Warrior on right now, so I need to make sure I change that. So let's pick something a bit more sensible. There we go. So, you know, you've already got a pretty significant heal there and a triple condition removal on this ability. So mending, I think, can certainly see some play there as well. After that, to maybe kind of intersperse with the heal Signet. It already did see a little bit of usage and sometimes sees play, but healing Signet generally tends to trump it. But mending, I think you'll see that there as well. Especially as Finn says, right? You can daze, you can CC people for a long duration and then pop off, right? And get your mending going there as well. Blood Reckoning, the Berserker heal, up to 25 seconds. Pretty inconsequential nerf there, really. That's just kind of, they're increasing the cooldowns of basically everything. So, yeah, Blood Reckoning is no exception there as well. You know, it's good because it allows you to refresh your heal skill, your Berserk skill as well. You can like double pop a Greatsword F1 as well in Berserker, which is kind of where a lot of that ability's power comes from, and it will full heal you off that, dealing a lot of damage. So yeah, 25 seconds I think is justifiable. To the limit just gets reduced in healing. I think it's already 30-second cooldown. Yep. So 30-second cooldown. It goes down to a little bit less healing. But it's a strong heal, right? It is, and it gives you a full dodge back as well and full adrenaline. So it's got a bit of punch there. So reducing the stain is fair enough. Will it be able to compete with mending and healing Signet? I don't know, like maybe some kind of shout heal warrior could actually kind of exist at some point, but I think you'd want to have something to do with the conditions, right? Like dealing with the conditions with either mending or healing Signet is going to be good, because Shake It Off gets nerfed quite hard here, but we'll see. I don't know, kind of a fun ability, because you give your allies endurance too, right? You give them all 100 endurance, which is pretty spicy if you think about it. Which I think everyone's dodge is kind of difficult to utilize though as well. But I think that's probably a bit of a long shot there. I think, especially with the relatively long cooldown as well of 30 seconds, which could be reduced with the shout trait, I suppose. But still, and you know, maybe on something like Base Warrior, it could see play, because on Base Warrior you already take the trait, don't you? Or you take Vigorous Shouts, so, you know, down to 24. And you get some extra healing there as well, 10k heal and endurance. Yeah, maybe. Support Warrior. Oh, nice. The Mirage gets 50. You're very right, Unique Control. And the Spellbreaker heal gets a nerf on its healing as well. Now, this heal never really saw a lot of play because you end up cucking yourself really hard. Yes, it removes a lot of conditions, but it also removes all of your boons as well. However, maybe that doesn't matter so much because you don't have that many boons anymore. However, on Spellbreaker, you are still looking to stack Might as well, I would imagine. So yeah, you probably aren't going to want to use this. It also has a very, very long cast time, but 7 conditions removed and a very substantial heal of 12,000 now and 8.5k later is, yeah, I think that's maybe a little bit of a stretch. I think you're going to play mending. Let's put it like that, boys. Right? But yeah, there you go. There's the heal skills. Utility skills. Bull's Charge. Yes! This skill had it coming. It evades. It does insane damage. It's a knockdown. It's a long-range dash. What a trash ability, dude. Oh my god. Honestly, even now, this is still an amazing ability. The only difference is that when you get 3-second knockdown, you won't also get 8k crit at the same time. Yeah, this was a horrible ability. It completely got what it deserved. It's still good, though. It's not bad. 3-second CC and the ability to disengage with it. It's such a versatile skill. You can disengage and evade. You can just use it as an evade, like while you're in combat. You can be aggressive with it. You can be defensive with it. This is an amazing ability. It's less amazing now, but it's still really fucking good. Feels good, man. Kick. Reduce power coefficient from 1.0 to 0.01. Yep, that's fine. Kick. I feel like Kick doesn't really see play in PvP. It's just like a consistency thing, so they've reduced the ammo there as well. Stomp does it to play. Ezeki played Stomp for a while. Stomp Warrior with Mace even for Omega CC. So he's going to be overjoyed because the cooldown is under 30 seconds. The bad news is it doesn't do any damage now, and the stability is 1 second there as well. Ow. However, you do still get the stability when you actually hit as well, but it's only 3 seconds. So not the most horrible nerf there in the world. It's just very kind of in line with how much stability is being removed from the game, just in general. But yeah, there you go. Stomp. It doesn't really see a lot of competitive play right now, unless you're Ezeki, but I'm not sure if he even plays anymore. For Great Justice, Might duration, 15 seconds to 6 seconds. Very standard. Honestly, that's probably a good thing as well, because this trait is actually insane. This skill is insane. Right now, it gives you 12 Might and Fury for a very long duration. Now, 15 seconds. Right now, let me reset my boon duration. I've got some boon duration on, it seems. Wait, why is my wait. This is... Why is it doing that? Like, what? Wait, what? Okay, there we go. Thank you. My game got confused. It was not showing my PvP equipment. I've got Leadership Rune on right now. How about Rune of Adventure? That's got no boon duration. Easy. So, as you can see, yeah, for Great Justice, it's a good move right now. 8 seconds of Fury, 12 seconds of Might. Now, you've got to pop that shout and then use it. And your allies have got to use it too. Because this is a lot big raise. It's a shout right, so they get the 12 Might as well. Very powerful. 12 Might is absolutely not to be sniffed at whatsoever. So yeah, there you go. It's still a good ability, I think. You'll use it for, like, bursting people. You'll use it, you'll time it, right? Now, it's pretty easy to set it up because you can actually use it, like, you don't have to use it ahead of time, right? Because it's a shout and instant cast, you can cast it right at the last second before you eviscerate someone, for example, before you greatsword slash someone, right? So it is quite easy to use for easy setup, so 6 seconds is fine, to be honest. Shake It Off. Reduce the number of conditions cleansed from 6 to 4. Increased ammo recharge from 50 seconds to 75 seconds. So, that is a very heavy nerf. So, not only are you getting less conditions, you also have a massive cooldown increase up to 75 seconds, a 50% cooldown increase. Now, it is a powerful ability. Removing 6 conditions AoE is good. Of course, Warrior is typically in 1v1s. When you're in a team fight, Shake It Off is actually really, really strong, right? Removing a hell of a lot of conditions there. Now, this does make the Shout trait very high value, being able to reduce that cooldown back to kind of more in line of where it should be. You're going to take 15 seconds off the cooldown, taking it down to a minute, right? Which is only 10 seconds more than what it was if you have the shout trait. So that, you know, base Warrior might be quite happy with that, or taking tactics. But that is a very significant nerf and limits the stun break options for Warrior significantly, right? Like that, that does really pack a little bit of a punch there. For Warrior, just in general, right? You know, because typically what you use right now on Warrior, you take Bull's Charge, Frenzy, and Shake It Off. Now, Frenzy and Shake It Off are both stun breaks, and Frenzy will remain a stun break, I think, as far as I'm aware. Let's see. Yep, it is, but it has an increased cooldown. So the stun break scarcity is going up considerably. Like having that cooldown going up to 75. It's very like the Elementalist one, actually. The Weaver stun break is 70 seconds now, and now Shake It Off is also 75 seconds there as well. So I guess that is kind of in line with that, and you do have 2 charges, so you can kind of have one on cooldown while you've still got one in the tank. So I think it's not horrible, not a horrible change. But yeah. Not bad. not bad at all, I think. And yeah, a significant nerf there as well. Like, that's a lot of conditions removed, and now you don't get, you don't remove nearly as many. Like, it's a 33% reduction. So yeah, quite a strong nerf, but it is a very, very powerful ability. Probably overbuffed at the time, so I think it does kind of end up okay. Dolyak Signet. Reduced stability duration from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Increased cooldown from 40 to 60. Whoa! Wow. Yeah, that is, this is an ability that doesn't typically see a lot of play, actually. I think it sees some play in maybe World versus World, but then, or Balance Stance, maybe. But Balance Stance also gets a cooldown increase as well. It's a stun break, it gives you stability, it gives you toughness while you don't use it, and it's a 60-second cooldown now. Again, this actually isn't really too scary, because this is in line with other classes. It's not like this warrior is getting bullied more than anything else. Everything is getting bullied with stun breaks. So, yeah, there you go. That's the approach we're going. Same with Balance Stance. Balance Stance is a stun break, and that is going right on up to 60 seconds. So, there you go. The trait will also get... The trait's probably going to get deleted and put to like 300 or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. And Berserker Stance, cooldown going up to 30 from 40. That is because, once again, guys, it is a pretty powerful ability that gives you immunity to conditions of temporary... it's a strong effect, so increasing the cooldown there, I think, is fine. Endure Pain is also going up from 30 to 40. Increased duration from 2 to 3 seconds. Yeah, we're kind of getting back there now. I think that's not actually... Yeah, that's probably a bit of a fairly juicy buff there. Overall, you're getting, trading 10 seconds on the cooldown, but you get an extra second of immunity on the effect itself. So yeah, that's a pretty fair exchange there between those two. And again, it's a stun break. That's primarily why its cooldown's going up, because stun breaks are becoming more scarce in this patch across the entire game. So yeah, that makes sense there. Will it see play? I don't know. Like, it might be more. You might be more likely to see maybe the really traditional meme with like Berserker Stance, Endure Pain, and that sort of thing, that you might see more traditional stuff like that to get more stun break, to get like a more frequent stun break in over that. But I don't know, like, I still think people are really going to value Frenzy for the 10 might as well. Like, the Frenzy 10 might is really, really good, not only because it gives you damage with quickness and might, and stun breaks you, it also gives you endurance and healing as well, thanks to Might Makes Right. So, like, yeah, this is probably, honestly, the build for Warrior may not even end up changing that much. I think you're just going to have to deal with a slightly reduced power level, which is fine, because everything else is also having its power level reduced too, so it works out. Frenzy, quickness is down to 4 seconds. That's probably okay, honestly. You don't need 6 seconds, really. I mean, it's nice, right? Obviously. But look, you 100 Blades, you Whirlwind, you Arcing Slice, right? That doesn't take 6 seconds. So this is fine. And the cooldown's going up because it's stun break. So stun breaks are going to be a little bit more scarce. And you've got to use that Frenzy wisely. Use it wisely, my friend. Same with Shake It Off as well. You got to really kind of try and squeeze value. Squeeze some value out of that, out of those abilities, out of that cleanse, that sort of stuff. So, ooh, dude, Outrage increased cooldown from 10 to 25 seconds. Wow, that is a big spice. That is a big meme right there. I'm surprised they did that. Why did they do that? Berserker isn't even that good. Well, I guess it's because it's a really short cooldown stun break. They're like, you know what? Nope, you're not doing that anymore. And I guess, that it is what it is, I guess, boys. Yeah, that is simply how it goes. Dude, why is the music in some of these zones so goddamn trash? I'm escaping. Like, it's really getting on my nerve, dude. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, Outrage is 25-second stun break now, and it extends your Berserker as well, but Berserker, I think it's pretty questionable. Maybe now Berserker can thrive a little bit as a team fight, like DPS class, maybe with a support with a Firebrand or a Tempest or something like that, because of the lower damage, so it can maybe survive and will be a bit harder to focus down, perhaps. That can utilize this, but oh no, I think it might be a bit of a stretch. Shattering Blow. Power's going down, bleed stacks are going down, and the cooldown is going up to 20 seconds. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a really short cooldown, and it is a bit of a jack of all trades skill. It gives you stability, it reflects, it does damage, and it does bleeding at the same time. So now it's more of a, it's a very utility-focused ability rather than like an aggressive ability. So yeah, that makes sense. Sundering Leap. Vuln is going down, and the cooldown's going down as well. Oh, one of the few buffs. Guys, I can't believe it. Buffing in current year. There you go. You can leap all over the place. One of the few mobility increases in the entire game. Okay. I mean, sure. Okay, Wild Blow. It's a CC, so it doesn't do any damage. I did a lot of damage. Like, Longbow is 2.5 cow coefficient. Not anymore. 0.01 now. Oof. Big oof there. No damage. Oh, dear. How did that buff get in there? Yeah, you're going to have to fix that, CMC. You're going to have to address that. Featherfoot Grace. Increased cooldowns from 40 seconds to 45 seconds. That's another stun break, and it gives you resistance and super speed on Spellbreaker. So, yeah, it's getting the stun break tax applied to it. As usual. It's 30 seconds, that's because it's in PvE. In PvP, it's 40 seconds already, so it's going up to 35. This skill did actually see play at one point, but it kind of fell out of favor when the kind of Strength Warrior came around, the Might Makes Right stuff. And it, well, I'm not sure if it can really compete still. It's quite a long cooldown, but the effect is strong, right? Super Seed and Resistance is quite good, but it's kind of like... It's a bit of an interesting one. Like, it doesn't with a lot of conditions maybe not lasting as long sometimes as well, because expertise being deleted, you could maybe actually view this as a bit like a condition cleanse. Then there's a possibility this actually might be a little bit better than you might think, actually, because of conditions maybe not lasting as long because of no expertise. So if you get resistance, it might actually be kind of the same as cleansing the condition sometimes as well. So that's something to watch out for. Same with healing Signet there as well. Yeah, that might be good. If the game goes a little bit slower and the conditions are not quite as long overall, then resistance is high value because it actually will save you, like kind of like healing Signet does now. So, you know, worth to consider. But I think Warrior has some really strong utility options, and yeah, I think Finn's right here, dude. Like, Stomp, a 24-second fucking stun break. That's pretty big value and a really big CC, like a really big knockback that gives you a little bit of stability as well. Like, Stomp is this big. 24-second stun break, one of the lowest cooldown stun breaks in the entire game right now. Yeah. Okay. So, finally, break enchantments. Damage is gone, but oh, look at that boon rip, boys. 3 to 4. Now, Warrior was already very, very hard boon rip in World vs. World, and that's going to go up now. You know, Warrior's damage from this is reduced, but it never did that much damage anyway. Like, they nerfed it. It used to do a lot of damage, but they actually reduced that. They made it more of a boon rip skill, and now it's really a boon rip skill. 4 boons AoE is 20 boons potentially. That is very, very strong, especially with the reduced durations, right? Like, you know, there won't be so many boons about the place. So you're going to really debuff people with this. Very, very nice. But to compensate, the cooldown goes up to 25 seconds. Again, choose your moment. This is big brain gameplay. The game is slowing down. It's less spammy. Great changes. Signet of Rage. The long-lost, neglected elite skill of Warrior, replaced by Rampage a long, long time ago. Let's see if it can recover. Reduce Fury and Summoning Duration from 25 seconds to 6 seconds. Adjusted Might from 5 stacks for 25 seconds to 20 stacks for 4 seconds. Reduce the cooldown from 60 seconds to 40 seconds. Can this compete with Rampage? To be honest, I don't think so. Maybe on like some kind of YOLO build, like a Rifle Warrior, snipey, or something like that. And that, it can be very strong on that, actually. 20 Might on Rifle Warrior, boom, with Fury. That can be very, very dangerous, right? Maybe on some kind of Berserker build as well. You get Signet of Rage, you go in Berserk when you start spinning around doing insane DPS. That could work as well. So, yeah. No, but Rampage is so good. It does massive damage with the fucking punches. It does huge CC with the leap. You've got mobility. You've got damage reduction on it as well. I don't know. Rampage is so good, dude. It is such a strong ability, man, with Rampage. It really, really is. Oh my god. Signet of Rage, I think it may actually end up seeing some like niche usage on some really aggressive one-shot builds. Like, you get the 20 stacks of might, that's your moment, right? That's your elite, that's when you pop off. But I think for a lot of 1v1 builds like Spellbreaker and stuff, Rampage is going to be so strong. Rampage is very, very powerful. It still does quite heavy damage here as well, but they are reducing that. As you can see, Smash damage is nearly halved, Bash nearly halved there as well, and Uppercut nearly halved once again. So yeah, it is some strong nerfs here. Like, you kind of see about 33%, about 40% here as well, nearly 50% nerfs on Smash, Bash, and Uppercut. So they're letting you have a little bit more On the uppercut there, you still have some decent damage, but it is definitely reduced. Certainly a little bit more in line with the other nerfs, but that's because it is overtuned. Now, the damage it does now is excessive, especially seeing as every single ability procs the physical 7% modifier there as well. Fun fact, all of these skills here on Rampage, these are all physicals, right? Can you see that? Like the peak performance thing, you get your damage modifier on every single one. It's only 7% in PvP, but it's still there, right? I think Rampage is still strong after this, but I think it's definitely less AIDS, actually. Way less AIDS. Right? That is... Feels good, man. Feels good, man. Headbutt is damage is deleted. Look at the coefficient. 3.0 coefficient on a headbutt going down to 0.1. Oh, but the cooldown goes down to 18 seconds. That is very spicy. That is a massive CC every 18 seconds, dude. And with how few stun breaks there are, you might be able to outpace them and eventually land a big headbutt and destroy them. But here's the thing, right? You can't really get out of it. I guess you can apply stability to yourself or have someone else apply stability to you. Well, you have Outrage on a 25-second cooldown, so you can use that. You can abuse that, so you can kind of pick your moment there. So I think that can work. But yeah, there we go. And Winds of Disenchantment, reduced target cap from 10 to 5. Oh, that's a long-awaited one. Now, this might be a bit of a hot take, but this actually might be... This might be unnecessary, actually. I guess yeah, well, with everything being nerfed, I guess it's okay. Yeah, this is fine. I kind of think it is a bit of a less of an elite skill right now. I think it was kind of okay on 10 targets, but yeah, that is a massive nerf, actually, for Warrior and World vs. World, right? It is a massive trade-off there as well. So yeah, I mean, it's still good, right? Like, but in particular, the not being able to reapply boons thing is really good, because if you trap someone in a bubble, right, and they get CC'd, they can't get stability again, right? If they got condies, they can't get resistance. So that's actually one of the really powerful effects there as well. So like, Winds of Disenchantment is still going to be good. It's still going to be a good ability, and it will obviously see play in World vs. World. But I think it definitely brings down the power level where you might consider running other things. Like, I don't know, like Warbanner is unironically like not the most unexciting prospect, right? Being able to insta-finish people and insta-rally allies with Merciful Intervention getting nerfed, a lot of the res power in World vs. World getting nerfed, with Geyser getting nerfed as well. I don't know, like there's some potential there as well, you know. But yeah, Winds still probably going to be the top elite for Warrior as well. Fun fact, Condi can do big damage without trade-off being squishy in Wolf Sword like Power Gear. Yeah, but its trade-off is its damage is very slow. So that's its trade-off. And there isn't, don't worry guys, there's not going to be a Condi meta in Wolf Sword. As long as Scrapper exists, and stuff like Firebrand, and honestly Scourge as well, has some additional Condi cleanse now as well. But it's kind of difficult to use it. But yeah, as long as Scrapper exists, there can't really be a Condi meta in World vs. World. Alright, traits. Reckless Dodge. Oof. Oof. Here we go. The damage is down. Where's the Condi damage nerf? Oh, no, I'll go off this at the end. I want to do the Warrior stuff now. Condi actually got bopped quite hard, particularly in PvP. But you don't need to nerf Condi. Okay, fine. I'll just do it now. Condi doesn't need to be nerfed a crazy amount because there's still kind of the same amount of cleanses in the game, right? There's still a lot of cleanses about the place, so Condi kind of gets shut down in the same way. As well. Now, in PvP, amulets have less condition damage and no expertise on them anymore. So yeah, that's how that goes too. Yeah, but there you go. Big memes. So Reckless Dodge damage goes down from 1.5 to 0.5 on the modifier. Wow. Yeah, in general, a lot of the on-dodge kind of passive damage traits have been getting either removed or reworked or nerfed pretty hard, so this makes sense. I mean, I'm surprised that Evasive Arcana managed to survive, actually. Or did it? Did it? I feel like it did. Did Evasive Arcana survive? Let's go ahead and check. It did. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that one can live. I guess it's just more of a heal thing rather than a necessarily damaging thing. But yeah, I mean, that does quite, think about it. Like 1.5 coefficient on dodging is quite a lot, especially when warriors dodge a lot. Like they refill their endurance using Might Makes Right, this trait here, right? So Might Makes Right here, they halved the healing on it. Wow, that's a bit of a hammer on the sustain, actually. Whoa. Ouch. That is big. But Might Makes Right, whenever you gain a Might stack, you gain some healing, and you also get some. You also gain some endurance, or 2 endurance as well. That allows you to dodge a fair bit more as well. And Warrior applies, and that's per stack of might, right? So for Great Justice gives you loads of endurance, nearly half a dodge. Mage Vein Tether gives you a bunch of might as well. All that stuff, right? You know, you gain might, boom, easy. You generate your endurance, and you just have a good time. You know, you just enjoy. You know, you just enjoy what's going on. You know. And you can also, you also have Forceful Greatsword as well on the warrior build, so you get some might through that as well. Good stuff. But that's how warrior works. Brave Stride, stability duration goes down from 8 to 4 seconds. Yeah, this is one of those kind of like weird meme abilities. Your first strike when you enter combat grants you stability. I mean, it's not horrible, but it only happens once, and warrior typically 1v1s a lot, so you're not going to get a crazy amount of value out of that. And peak performance is also really, really good, especially now that mending might end up being quite strong there as well. But yeah. So yeah, this is fine. I think Might Makes Right was a really good trait as well. I think Warrior being nerfed down in terms of sustain is appropriate, to be honest. Might Makes Right was a very, very good trait, especially with the evade uptime it gives you. So they've still got the additional evade uptime and the might application to combo that with. So I think it's a fair trade to reduce the healing quite significantly there. I think that's fine. Arms. Bloodlust. Reduce bleeding duration from 3 seconds to 1 second. Reduce the bonus bleeding duration from 33% to 15%. Yeah, this is like standard on-crit traits. That's getting the hell out of here. And in general, condition duration is going down across the board there as well with the bonus condition duration. This one is actually particularly powerful as well. Like 33% is very, very high for one of these traits typically. So yeah, this is perfectly fine there. Wounding precision. Conversion goes down to 7% to 4%. Yep, that's fine. Sundering Burst. Reduce vulnerability from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Yeah, sure. And Arms is a trait line that doesn't typically see a lot of play in PvP anyway, so it's not the most significant thing in the universe. Like, maybe you could do some kind of meme Berserker build where you use Burst Precision to one-shot everyone, but you don't really need that because you have 80% crit with Fury anyway, so it's not, well, I guess you could do Valkyrie or something like that, I guess, and really abuse your Burst and really spike people down. Or you could go for your Omega unsuspecting foe big boy crits. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe not. So there you go. That is all good in my book there as well. I'm surprised they didn't give more vulnerability to Sundering Burst, actually. It only has, I guess it has 10 stacks if you get a crit, so that is quite a lot, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know, sure. Defense. Adrenal Health. Reduce healing per second per stack from 133 to 100. So about 33% reduction there on the sustain from Adrenal Health. That's just in line with everything else. It's not particularly remarkable. Shieldmasta. Oh! Reduces might duration from 8 seconds to 1 second? Wow. That is bad. You are not going to get any value out of that might. Like, that is there almost entirely just to fuel Might Makes Right at that point. Like, you're never going to be able to really capitalize on that might from the shield. They do not want you stacking that might on Warrior whatsoever. Ooh, that's not happening. Defy Pain and Last Stand deleted from the game by increasing their cooldowns to 300 seconds. You are not going to be running those passives, believe you me. Which is kind of weird because, you know, the other options here are not great, honestly. If you were going to play like a standard greatsword build here, you know, something like, you know, like if you're going to play defense spellbreaker, like dagger shield with greatsword, these are not amazing choices. Like the Endure Pain was, you know, what you would typically take, right? But like the other ones are, you know, it's not exactly what you want to see there. And Rousing Resilience halved the healing on it, and the coefficient goes down to 0.1. Wow. And yeah, so that is a very serious nerf. However, it is justified because of the reduced damage and sustain of everything, and you do still get your 1k toughness. And that 1k toughness is going to count for a lot. That's going to make you very, very durable while that is available for you, while giving you a little bit of extra healing. But yeah, this build in general was, I don't think people really like Rousing Resilience. It wasn't the most fun build in the universe there as well. So yeah, there you go. But that, yeah, it's a pretty big nerf there, to be honest. But you know, the active effect there is still quite strong. In general, though, because stun breaks getting removed, like a lot of stun breaks get toned down a fair bit. And so, yeah, I think in general this trait also gets a little bit weaker because of that, right? You're not going to be able to spam a lot of stun breaks there to kind of get value out of Rousing Resilience. You will still have, of course, your Shake It Off and Frenzy will still be there, so you'll be able to take some value, but you're going to have to be really careful. You're going to have to really decide what stuns you want to break to benefit from Rousing Resilience. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh yeah, I can stun break everything, right? You're going to have to be pretty damn careful with which ones you go for there, because they are a lot more scarce now, and getting value out of these traits will be a lot more of a kind of a big brain thing, which is quite good in my opinion. I think that is, I think that's rather good. So, tactics, what have you got here? Marching orders. Might duration is going down from 15 to 6 seconds. Yep. That's very standard. This is like the weird gimmick mechanic. It seems like they actually want to make a lot of trait lines have a special mechanic. Like they've done this with all the Elementalist ones have this. They're doing it with Devastation now in Rev, and also with Corruption too, and with Tactics here as well. So then they want to, and they've done it with Explosives as well. They really like this idea that one of the traits gives you something special, right? And then the rest of the trait line is affected by that. I actually think that's really, really cool. Really nice design. I would love to see every trait line in the game like that, with everything being really cool with the different unique things. Like really changes your playstyle based on the trait line you take. I like that. So yeah. Anyway, that was a bit of a sidetrack there. Might's going down to 6 seconds. You've got to use it wisely. Standard. Mending Might. They aren't nerfing this so much because they want to keep tactics about the place, right? And dude, like, this is actually fat. I think they're kind of pushing for almost like a base shout heal warrior with this, because Mending Might is not getting nerfed that much, and this is the same. You got the shout heal here as well, and you take that for great justice, and you go fucking big, boys. You go big. Omega heal yourself by sustaining very, very hard there. Spicy. Leg specialist. Oh, dude, this trait is so AIDS. I'm glad they nerfed it. Immobilize a dunk when you cripple them with the skill. 5-second cooldown. Oh my god. Yeah, like that is some serious value there as well. You can get some big value out of this with Axe. You can play Axe on base warrior, right? And you can chuck the Axe at people and cripple them with the Axe. And then oh yeah, they're also immobilized now as well. It's just a whole load of fun, dude, with that. So yeah, it's good that they increased the cooldown on that. But bear in mind, it still actually kind of lines up with the Throw Axe cooldown. I believe Throw Axe is exactly 12 seconds now as well. I think they increased it a little bit. So, yeah, you can still abuse the Leg Specialist Axe Throw Immobilize meme. So still quite a strong trait there, I think. Dude, what is this word? Roaring Reveal or something like that. I don't fucking know. Revela, I don't know, what are these names, dude? Reduce concentration from 120 to 60. Yep, concentration is hard to get now. This trait now reflects it. It is a really fun trait, actually. 10 targets, and it gives you some resistance and fury on all of those targets, too. A powerful, like, Warhorn is surprisingly powerful. Like, I think at some point you will, if they keep pushing for this, you'll eventually see Warhorn warriors, in World vs. World in particular. I think that's where it can thrive. PvP maybe not so much, but in World vs. World, kind of like a, charge. I like the roleplay on that. That's fun. I think that can absolutely happen. Like a shout heal, more support style warrior can happen at some point. Maybe it doesn't quite have all the tools there. I think it could probably do with an elite spec. I think support warrior probably needs an elite spec to really get into the mix there. Like a almost like monk with staff, as we were talking about earlier, like staff monk. Like you're kind of oh yes, I have gone into a cave and I have learned the errors of my adrenaline-fueled ways. And maybe you don't have adrenaline anymore or something, some shit like that. Oh, that would be weird, actually. No, they couldn't do that. They can't just, like, delete the class mechanic. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could. Who knows? But, yeah, so I think Support probably needs an elite spec. But, yeah, there we go. Shrug it off. This trait sucks. Now it sucks slightly more. Vigorous Shouts. Healing coefficient goes down a little bit, but not too much, actually. Only 20%. Roughly, well, yeah, about 20%. So that is okay. Goes down from 1.2 to 1.0, so it's still good. It's still quite strong. It's still pretty strong memes. Yeah. They could just rename it to something else. I mean, they could do that. Yeah. So, just been versatile power, reduce might duration from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. That's when you weapon swap, you gain might. So yeah, you've got to use it quickly. You've got to weapon swap, then you've got to do like a burst skill or something like that, or a high damage ability. Yep, that makes sense, in line with everything else. Crack shot, reduce burning duration from 2 seconds to 1 second. I feel like this is like not really relevant outside of PvE, probably. The longbow burning, I think the days of Hambo are a little bit behind us, boys, But, well, we'll see about that maybe in the future, I guess. Heightened Focus. Reduce quickness duration from 4 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Yeah, I mean, this trait is typically not something that sees a crazy amount of play, but, you know, it does give you quite a lot of quickness uptime, but far less now. But this kind of maybe give you the opportunity to finish off a foe out of nowhere, but I think Burst Mastery in general is very, very good, and I think it'll be a bit of a tough sell to kind of dislodge that one, I think, from that Grandmaster trait line there as well. But yeah, in general, quickness uptime is going down just to kind of reduce the amount of damage, the amount of burst damage that any class can really dish out of nowhere. So yeah, there you go. Good stuff. Berserker. Burst of Aggression. Quickness is going down. That's standard. Quickness is getting fucked. That's just how it is. King of Fires. Reduced bonus burn duration from 33% from 10%. Again, standard. All duration traits are getting reset and they're going down quite low. The active component will still be there, though, and be relatively strong. You're going to get like 3 AoE burn stacks, I believe, when you detonate your fire aura. But again, Condi doesn't really see a crazy amount of play in, you know, Berserker. Well, Berserker in general doesn't really see a lot of play. Yep. So yeah, that seems good. An Eternal Champion. Reduce the might goes down and so does the stability. Dude, stability for 2 seconds when you go in Berserk. What is that, dude? What the fuck is that? I mean, wait, no. It's only when you stun break, right? Yeah. You gain the extra toughness back, and you gain stability and might when you break stuns. Oh, my God. Well, you know, dude, you'll be able to do a bit of that with, you know, you'll be able to do that with your Savage Instinct trait, I guess, which is kind of good. So you get your stability there as well. You don't get CC, you get your might too. You get your extra toughness to counteract that. Honestly, not a bad trait considering the power level of the game after the patch. Not even that bad, actually, because you'll be able to get some stab. It goes under 2 seconds, which kind of is a bit rip, actually. But, you know, it's enough to get maybe a quick burst off there as well, if you've got some quickness too as well. So it's something. And then finally, it's Spellbreaker. Loss Aversion. Reduce the power coefficient from 0.2 to 0.1. Okay, there we go. So now it's more about generating adrenaline, but honestly, that's not a lot of damage. It still isn't a lot of damage now. That's fine. Slow counter. Reduce slow duration from 3 to 2. Yep, that's good. Slow is AIDS. This kind of takes that down a notch and, you know, reduces the application. Very, very good. Sun and Moon style. Not something that really sees a lot of play in PvP and World vs. War, as far as I'm aware. Quickness is now down there as well, which is whenever you interrupt, you gain some quickness. So, yep, I think that's fine. And Mage Vein Tether. Ooh, that's a bit of a big one, actually. Might goes down in PvP from 2 to 1. Wow. Yeah, that is, ooh, yeah, that is a big oof right there, I think. Wow. That's quite unfortunate. That's going to make it a lot harder to get up to that 25 might level. It still has its duration, so it has a decent duration for Warrior, which is quite nice. And it will literally give you half. It will give you about a quarter of the sustain, right? Because Might Makes Right has halved in power, and Mage Vein Tether has halved in power as well. So you get a quarter of the sustain. So a massive nerf there to Mage Vein Tether, which is a very, very key ability for Warrior. However, it did do a little bit too much, right? It was a powerful CC. It gave you more damage on the target. It reveals them. It pulls them towards you. And it stacked Might on you for more damage, which also healed you and gave you endurance. Yeah, like that was a ridiculously overstacked trait. Really cool trait, though. So yeah, that definitely deserves it. And it's still probably fine, actually, within the current, the new power level of the game. So there you go. That's for Warrior. So Warrior in general, I think you might see a bit more variation in Warrior builds. And you might actually end up seeing some base Warriors running about the place there as well. Rifle changes are really interesting and have some potential as well, I think. I am a little bit skeptical about that, though. Berserker, I mean, but you know, Berserker might be one of those classes that is actually a bit of a sleeper, but it is easy to shut down and it is easy to play around, right? So that might prevent it from being truly effective, I suppose. But yeah, there we go. That's it, guys. Oh yeah, and Hammer has some really cool, like, kind of rhythm changes as well. That's kind of a fun one, right? Yeah. Oh man. So that is it, guys. That was all the balance changes that are coming up. We actually made it to the end. It's been 10 hours, guys, talking about balance in a dead game. Fucking hell. And you know what the best part is, guys? we're going round again when it comes through on the 25th. We'll probably be talking about it all over again. Oh my god. 10 hours, man. Time to get cozy. Yeah, look, did you get baited by that method ad, Fapslot? Is that what happened, dude? When are you reviewing the balance patch preview? Oh, God, no. I mean, we just did it. I can't do it again, Omega Pong. I can't do it again. When's the patch actually dropping? I think it's going to be 25th of February, if I have to guess. So what are my overall thoughts? My overall thoughts are excellent. This is exactly what the game needs. I don't want to give like any like overall predictions because they're a little bit tricky. I think that in general you'll see, I think every class will actually see play after these changes. I think it's kind of definitely brought it more in line with where everything should be, actually, in particular. It's really kind of brought down like the really aggressive stuff like Rev a little bit in general there as well. And I think the game is going to be a lot more fun after this change. The time to kill is going to be a lot lower. Higher, rather. And yeah, it's some good quality. This looks really, really good. Really good patch. Now, one thing I will say is that does kind of concern me a little bit is the amount of CC suppression. They've really kind of got rid of a lot of stun breaks and stuff like that and stability, but they didn't really reduce the amount of CCs that much. I think that's a concern. There might be a hell of a lot of lockdown in the game, but we'll see how that one plays out. And also, one thing that I'm sure that the developers are already aware of this 100%, right? But they, you know, overall kind of application and class mechanics haven't been changed yet, and I think that's going to have to be addressed at some point. Like, ultimately, stuff like Firebrand tomes probably need to get changed a little bit with how they work. Mirage probably needs a change on how it actually works. You know, with the amount of application that can go out there, with how much boon spam actually goes out there, yeah, like this, you know, playing with the durations kind of just makes everything feel shit eventually, and makes it just bad without making it actually balanced. It kind of removes stuff instead of making it bad. So that's kind of like the end game there. But this is a really, 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 really good start. I think you're going to see a lot of new builds across almost every specialization that are probably going to end up quite good. I think everything that needed to get bopped definitely got bopped. Maybe stuff like some of the mobility maybe didn't get tuned down maybe quite enough. I don't know. I still feel like Thief is going to be very, very strong. Core Necro is one to watch out for. That might be a little bit spooky. Watch out for Core Necro, guys. And, you know, stuff like some of these Rebels. I feel like Rev might be quite scary, depending on how good Battle Scars is. That's something to definitely be a little bit scared of. But everything else, like the power levels have been toned down a lot. And that is very, very good in general. So an excellent patch, I think. Very, very good stuff. Overall, I think this is an amazing start for the game to start getting back on track. And I'm glad I put my faith in the developers, because this means that the Masters of the Arena PvP tournament will be fucking big gaming, guys. Exclamation mark Motor in the chat, guys. Get hyped for the PvP tournament with actual good balance, actual mega class variety. It's going to be fucking amazing. So, oh, yeah, there you go. It's going to be good.